What's up guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Torambus941 Gaming, and today I'm going to be comparing different early game Floor 7 setups, and I'm going to be testing each one of them out myself in the Floor 7 to show you guys kind of how to use it. This guide is not how to continuously play Floor 7, but it's just kind of helping newer players to see how to actually get started in Floor 7 because it can be rough for some people. So anyways, let's get into it. So the first setup we're going to be going over is probably one of the most infamous ones in Floor 7, the Spirit Scepter Mage. But if you actually want to be a somewhat competent teammate, instead of just spamming bats off into the distance like a complete and total idiot, then you're going to want another weapon to go along with the Spirit Scepter. This weapon is, of course, the Yeti Sword. This weapon, despite its cooldown, can be quite useful in Floor 7 when you're first starting off, dealing better damage than the Spirit Scepter, but it's more controlled and there's less of a radius. So, how you're going to want to clear is, you'll Spirit Scepter Mage clear, and then when you get to creatures with somewhat actual HP, then use the Yeti Sword to kill them. The perks of the Spirit Scepter are that you can shoot creatures from a distance without having to get up close and having them deal melee damage to you, with the exception of the Fell, but then again you can kill it with the Yeti Sword pretty easily. When you get to rooms with a mini boss, what you're going to want to do is to stand back, wait for it to shoot all of its arrows, and then you Yeti Sword it when it gets in close. For yellow room mobs, you're going to want to have a Wither Cloak on you at all times. Even though there is a 10-second cooldown, it is going to be very useful. What you want to do is you want to run around and spam Yeti Sword while it's running at you. If it can't catch up to you, then that's good. If it can, then you need more speed. For rooms like this one, you want to try and avoid killing any unnecessary mini-bosses. This mini-boss right here is not necessary for you to kill. Therefore, you shouldn't waste your time on trying to kill it, but just keep clearing as if it weren't there. For boss room, what you're going to want to do is to use the Spirit Scepter to aggro the mobs out of the room, and then use the Yeti Sword to kill them fast. This is especially useful if there's a healthy Scarf in there, in this case, because he's going to shoot up dealing a lot of damage with those Wither Skulls of his, and you do not want to get into contact with them, especially as an early game mage with not much HP to use. The Giant is a little harder because you can't lure it out of the room. In most cases, you should get it into an area where you can see it from the door, and then spam Spirit Scepter on it until it dies. But if you're feeling daring or have a bit more HP, you could go in and use Yeti Sword on it. The next weapon I want to go over is, of course, the Midas Staff. This item can be annoying for a lot of parties because of the gold particles that it creates and the damage cancellation it causes. But this item is surprisingly good for DPS, and while it does have a 1-second cooldown, in one-hit damage, it does deal more than a Hyperion. But this item can be a little awkward to use sometimes, which is why, of course, it is going to be accompanied, yet again, by the Spirit Scepter. So, once again, you're going to want to clear with your Spirit Scepter, and when you come to a mini-boss, you're going to want to clear them out with the Midas Staff. This weapon has similar gameplay to the Yeti Sword, except it has a different way of aiming. This next item I've actually made a video on very recently. It's called the Glacial Scythe, and it's actually surprisingly great for clearing. This item also gives you the luxury of having one more hotbar slot free. So you kind of aim this weapon like you would with a gun. You don't have to be anywhere near the mobs, and you can just kind of shoot at them from far away, killing them pretty quickly. A strat that I've heard some people say is to shoot at the enemy's feet, so that way the scythe actually hits them at the same time that the explosion does. It's kind of weird, but it doesn't take too long to get used to. With minis, you do the same kind of thing, you just shoot at the ground. It's got the same sort of gameplay to kill everything, which makes it pretty easy to learn how to use. For non-SA minis, this weapon is also really good for keeping you safe, because like most of the other weapons, you can just stand back and snipe them. Oh goodness, these guys are boomers, so this is going to be kind of awkward. Basically, what you kind of want to do is just to kind of run around and keep him in a circle and shoot him. For the giant, you can kind of just stand outside and shoot at his feet once again. It doesn't really take that long for them to die. And this is actually pretty much as fast as using a Yeti sword. So yeah, that's been the Glacial Scythe. And the next item that we're going to be looking at is an archer item that has been infamous for a very long time as, you guessed it, the Juju short bow. Now this item is looked pretty down upon by the Dungeons community as a whole, but I found that you can usually get into parties below Kata 35 with this. Now the setup for this is pretty simple. 3-Force Necron or Necron chestplate and leggings with Maxor boots and a golden/diamond Necron head. The pet that you're probably going to be wanting to use for this is going to be a skeleton pet. Now this bow is pretty annoying to clear with, considering it only shoots one arrow instead of the 3 that Turner usually shoots. What you're probably going to want to do to compensate for this is to use bouncy arrows from the NPC in the hub. Or if you're playing as Archer and not Birds, you can just use normal arrows. This bow does have pretty good DPS for its very small price tag, but it comes with a hefty requirement of Enderman 5. But if you don't want to use this, then there is always the alternative of the Spirit Bow, which actually has a short bow ability that makes it insta-shoot arrows. So if you don't want to get into Enderman Slayer, then that's probably what you're going to want to use. For Blood, you just want to stand in the door and snipe your enemies from there. You should be able to quickly kill them if you're Archer or Burrs. The giant's pretty easy to kill too, to be honest. You just shred through everything with a Juju. And the final weapon that I'll be showing you guys in this video is the Axe of the Shredded. Despite the nerf to the AOTS swap, this item is still somewhat decent in floor 7. Now this setup is very strange. What you're going to want is any DPS pet, your AOTS obviously, a gold/diamond Necron head, and you're going to want some form of mage armor for your 3-4 set. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to mainly use the ability to clear. Now with an ultimate wise Axe of the Shredded, you will be able to do this fairly easily. Or if you're feeling confident that you have enough mana, you could also set it to Soul Eater and have a bit of extra damage that way. Here's our first mini boss here. As you can see, they die pretty fast. And with this much mana, you're probably never going to run out, even if you're just constantly running around the dungeon spamming it. This item is a bit slower to clear with than other weapons, but it's probably one of the cheapest and easiest options on the list. And it's probably one of the most long range items yet, seeing as you don't even need to even see the creatures in blood to kill them. And since I'm sure that there are going to be some people that are skeptical as to its capabilities in the boss fight, I'm going to play an actual floor 7 with an actual team and show you its performance. Okay, we're going to be trying this out with Zach Plays AN here, who I very much just randomly found in Party Finder. And the AOTS kind of just shreds through him. I'm probably just pissed off the team right now because I just DPS'd him, but yeah. Shadow Assassin gets killed pretty fast. This is also really nice for Goldor phase, like I can kind of just shoot at him like this. And yeah, that has been the AOTS in Floor 7. Zach plays and improved. Well, boys, that has been an early player's guide to starting Floor 7. Please leave a like and subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.